Hello beautiful people, I'm Alex and this is Gingerhead & Co, my sewing vlog. Today we'll be making a t-shirt for a dog, this one. I made another one, but before we start, number 1, only make t-shirts for dogs who need them and want to wear them. Number 2, dogs come in all sizes and shapes, and this is a basic pattern that you can adjust to fit your dog better. If your dog's chest is much bigger than the waist, you can do what I do for one of my dogs. You can cut off the wedge of the bottom part and it will fit your dog better, but it won't fit dogs who don't have the big difference between the chest and the waist. Number 3, you only need 3 measurements: the length, the girth and the neck circumference to make this t-shirt. The neck and the legs openings should be determined individually. They should fit your dog. The neckline should be bigger than the neck circumference, and the legs openings, the armholes, should be bigger for dogs with longer legs and can be small for dogs with shorter legs. Number 4, the t-shirt is made in stretchy fabric in knits, so it doesn't require any wearing ease. It doesn't include any wearing ease. If you are making a thunderstorm t-shirt for your dog, don't add seam allowances to have some negative ease. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. We need to measure the length of the dog. Baby, come on. Okay, I'll measure this one, but this one is going to have a shirt. From the base of the neck to the tail, and this one is 45 centimeters. This one is only 27, so it's going to make a difference. 45 centimeters. Come on, baby. I need your cooperation. Then we need to measure the girth, 2 fingers under the shoulder blade around the dog in the widest place, around 1 inch or 2 fingers under the shoulder blades, and mine is 66 centimeters. We need to have the neck circumference, that's 40 centimeters, and just in case, across the shoulder to know where to start our armhole openings. For me, from one shoulder to the other, it's going to be about 31 centimeters. To make a dog's t-shirt, you will need a dog. One dog. I only need 1 dog. Ow! A measuring tape, some paper to draw a pattern, pencils or markers, a ruler and a French curve or a small plate, rotary cutter and a mat or scissors, fabric with 20% or more stretch. I'm using French terry. For a medium-sized dog you will need about ½ meter of fabric and some ribbing or strips of fabric to make binding. You will need about 30 centimeters of ribbing for a medium dog. We're going to use our dog measurements to draft the pattern. I need 45 centimeters for the length. Just double check it. Then about 20 centimeters from the beginning, I'll make a mark. And from that point, I draw a line of 21 centimeters. My neck opening altogether is 46 centimeters, so I need 23 centimeters, half of it. I'm using my curved ruler to do that. I'm drawing the bottom line to help me with the button, rounding it off. I know that the bottom line needs to be 36 centimeters to allow the private parts to be uncovered. And again, I'm rounding it off. Then again, I'm using my 20 centimeters line, my midline. I'm going to start, let's say, 2 centimeters from that line, and I need half of the leg opening. So for me, half of the leg opening is going to be 23 centimeters. So this is our rough version of the top of the button. We can perfect it later. Now we need to add seam allowances. For me, seam allowances are 6 millimeters because I construct everything on the overlocker. We need to add 6 millimeters here, 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 and here, and here. And I can label it and cut it out. I'm going to use the top of my pattern to draft the bottom, the second part of the pattern. And I always round mine, and my opening at the top is always slightly smaller than the one at the bottom, but that's up to you. You don't have to do that. So I simply draw a line here, and I know that the girth is 66 centimeters, so altogether they need to be 33 centimeters. That and that needs to be 33 centimeters. So because I've got 21 centimeters here, I'm going to need 12 centimeters here. That is going to be 12 centimeters. I'm rounding that off. I'm using that to determine how long the bottom part is, but I need to round it off again to make it nicer. And that is going to be our leg opening. So again, about 23 centimeters, or in my case, it's actually 26 centimeters because I prefer the bottom to be slightly bigger. And we are going to cut it on the fold here. I have added seam allowances, 6 millimeters in my case. Here, 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 and here. That's the top. And that's the bottom. We're also going to need ribbing, and I'm going to cut my ribbing to 2 inches because I need 1 inch binding. All my bindings are 20% shorter than the openings. So the neck binding is 20% shorter than the neck opening. The armhole binding is 20% shorter than the armholes. The bottom band is 20% shorter than the back opening. So we've got the top of the t-shirt and the bottom of the t-shirt, and we're going to sew them together. We're going to sew this edge and this edge, and the side seams. Yeah. I'm going to do it on my overlocker. You can do it on your domestic sewing machine using a stretch stitch, so a zigzag stitch or any stretch stitch of your choice. Right sides together, and let's go. Our t-shirt is almost ready. We're going to finish it with ribbing. I'm going to measure the neckline, so the neck opening, the armholes, and the end of the t-shirt, the hem of the t-shirt, because I'm going to finish it all with ribbing. The ribbing is going to be 20% shorter than the corresponding opening. So the ribbing for the neck opening is going to be 20% shorter than the neck opening. The ribbing to finish the armholes is going to be 20% shorter than the armholes, and the ribbing for the hem for the bottom of the t-shirt is going to be 20% shorter than the hem or the bottom of the t-shirt. So I need to measure my openings. I have all my bands of ribbing cut 20% shorter than the corresponding openings. I'm folding them in half to make a loop. I'm going to sew along the short edge to make a loop. Just remember, right sides together. Ribbing also has a right side, so right side together. All the bands are done, and I'm going to fold them. Let's start with the neckband. I'm going to fold them along the long edge in half, like that. And I'm also going to put a clip marking the half of the neckband. So that's my one half and that's the other. I'm going to match the seams, so I'm dividing my neckline in half, like that. And let's put a clip in the half. And then I put the seam next to the seam, so I'm matching the seams. And then matching the halves that I marked with the clip. If you are worried that it's not going to go smoothly in, you can divide it into quarters. You can mark the half of the half as well. So you can divide the band in quarters and the neckline in quarters, make notches or clip them together or pin them together, and so like that. But I think half is enough. I've got the t-shirt on the wrong side, the band is inside, and I'm going to sew the band to the neckline. Right sides together. The ribbing, right side, matches the right side of the t-shirt. And I'm pulling the band gently as I sew, so that it stretches and accommodates to fit the neckline. So our neckband is in, and I'm going to do the same to the armholes and then to the hem. I'm not dividing my armholes in half, my bands or armholes, but you can, it's up to you. Again, my t-shirt is on the wrong side, right sides together, so the ribbing is right side to the right side of the t-shirt. I'm matching the seams, and let's go. One armhole is done, now the other one. Again, fanning the ribbing to the right side, matching the seams. The ribbing is inside of the t-shirt. The armholes are now done with the ribbing. The only thing left to do is the bottom. I'm dividing my hem in half. I do the same to the ribbing. First I fold it in half, then mark the half of my band and match the half of my band and the half of my t-shirt. So the halves of my band and the halves of my t-shirt are going to be clipped together. You can divide it into quarters. It's quite a long band, so it might be easier to divide it into quarters. And again, the band is inside, the t-shirt is turned to the wrong side, so right sides are matching. Let's go. Again, I'm pulling the ribbon slightly as I sew. Now a t-shirt is done, but I'm going to top stitch the ribbing using a cover stitch. But even now, well, it's done. I'm going to top stitch all the bands using a cover stitch. I've got my t-shirt on the wrong side, but you can have yours on the right side if you prefer. I just prefer to stitch from the inside. So I'm placing my neckband, I'm starting with the neckband, under the foot. I'm starting just before my seam to make it even. My foot, this is Juki MCS1500, so the foot's got markings here, and I'm going to match the markings on my foot. They indicate where the needles go. I'm going to top stitch using my foot as a guide. I don't need any other guide, and my seam allowances are down, so I'm top stitching on the seam allowance just under the ribbing. So my first ridge is going to indicate the space between the ribbing and the t-shirt, and my needle is going to go precisely just under the ribbing, cover stitching through all the layers, so through the seam allowance that is down and my t-shirt. And I'm going to do it for all the openings, for my neckband, for my armholes and for my hem. I need to cut the beginning threads because I'm going to overlap my stitches and finish the cover stitch. I'm overlapping by using the guides indicating where the needles go and taking a few stitches over the beginning stitches. And then I finish my cover stitching as always, so the needles are down. I'm raising the foot, then by turning the hand wheel I'm raising the needles to the highest position. I'm putting a flat object under the foot, pulling the threads towards me, cutting all the threads, then pulling them to the other side, cutting the threads, and it's done. It's finished. Then I can tie the threads or I can cut them, they will not unravel. They are pulled through. So they are secured in two ways because I overlapped them and I pulled them through. And I'm going to do it to the rest of the openings, so the armholes. And again, it's pulled through and overlapped. Another armhole. And finally the hem. And our t-shirt is finished, all is top stitched. We can put it on the dog.